Well, good morning, gentlemen. This is next door to Peterbilt, and I just wanted to give you guys a little treat. There's not a lot of you guys get to see stuff like this, but this is how a tilt wall building goes together. And if you see where the crane is setting, so he's setting actually on the slab of the building. And then what you do is when you pour this, you leave what's called a ribbon section off the outside perimeter of the slab, and then you have the footing, which is what you see the tilt wall standing up on. And they're hooking to a panel now, and they're going to stand that up here in just a minute. And if they don't run us off, but this guy's pretty cool. He's helped me out twice unloading the Jeep with his telehandler, and super nice guy. I pay him with a case of Heineken, and at the end of the day, they enjoy a Heineken. So they're really nice guys. So hopefully we'll get to see this here. It looks like they're getting ready to come tight. And but the purpose for the ribbon, so once you stand the panels up, you know, there's an area of dirt between the main slab and then your vertical tilt panel. And once you do is, once your building is up and erected, you go on the inside and then you make your connection with your slab to the panel. Now, it's not really connected to it, but you have basically a construction joint in that ribbon area, and they pour that last. And the reason for that is if you tried to set a panel up against an existing slab, it would hinder getting those panels in line, and it would also cause a pressure point, or could cause a pressure point. Whereas if you set it down on the footing and then they pull, you know, they adjusted the panel to vertical, to plumb, not vertical, plumb, which is the same thing, right? So when they got their panel plumb, they could have a pinch point up against that slab, which is a stress that you don't need to have in that tilt wall. So that's you know, really part of the reason for that, and how you construct the building. But this looks to be about a 250-ton Cabelco crane. It's approximately 250. That's about what it takes to pop one of these slabs loose and handle this. So it looks like we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 people plus the crane operator. So it looks like they're coming tight. So their sling system is a pulley system, which is what allows you to be able to tilt that panel. Sorry about that. I got the camera back on it now, and you can see. So they're fixing to pop that slab loose. And these guys look like pros. I mean, this is done everywhere in the world. There you go. That slab's popped loose, and you see the crane rocking. See that slab coming out, and there you go. So it just tilts right up, and voila. That's simple. And so the slab that you see out here that these guys are walking on, the very bottom one, and so that's actually the parking lot for this. But you don't, you know, necessarily always pour that slab on the parking lot. So what you do is you pour what's called a bedding slab, which is just a concrete slab that you pour on flat ground, and you get it flat, and it's called a casting bed is what it's called. And you form up for your slab, and you put all your window cutouts, door cutouts in there, and then you put your rebar and get all your rebar correct, and then you come in, and if you notice, you'll see on this slab right here, let me get my finger out of there so it'll focus, you'll see some reveals, horizontal reveals in those panels. So they put wood down in certain areas to be able to make that design. It's just an architectural, feature, something the architect or whoever wanted in there. It serves no other purpose other than to, make it not look so boring. Yeah, the casting bed. So, you pour all of this and you pour all these slabs, and then you put your shoring, which these, if you see the steel, those are pipes, and they have all thread basically in the ends, and that's how you adjust plumb whenever you set that. So that's how it works. Really nothing to it. Big crane, heavy concrete, strong backs and weak minds. That's what it takes to get any construction project done. And sometimes it takes a case of Heineken at the end of the day. And then if you see the taglines, the yellow rope that they have, so that should be non-conductive taglines, which means if they ever crane got in contact with high power lines or voltage lines, it wouldn't kill that guy. But I don't know if they have them or not. I would think so, probably. Would make sense to have them, right? So, and then if you look up, you can see, so that spreader bar, which is hooked to the main block, you got the spreader bar, then you got to the 2 pulley system, which comes down, and then you got a pulley on each end of that, which is what allows that to rotate. And that panel is not really all that heavy, but it still takes a man of a crane to get it, pop loosed. And what they'll do is they'll spray form release oil down on the concrete before they pour, and that'll help release it from that bottom slab as well. Some people use diesel fuel, hydraulic oil, and a company called Lambert makes a product, and there's several others, but Lambert's an old name in concrete additives and products. Form release agent is what it is. So we I don't know if you can see right over there, maybe some orange there, and then if you look right down there, you'll see some orange. So they don't have the truck fixed because they apparently missed half of the information that I give them. So the guy, I kind of only allow one of them to work on my truck, and it don't always work that way, but he's a top-notch mechanic. He couldn't be here today, so I'm going to meet him here in the morning at 8 o'clock. We're going to go back over the stuff in the software. So you see they got that panel, so they're getting it lined up at the bottom, and then once they do that, they'll put their bracing up and bring it to plumb. But anyway, I'm going to meet him in the morning. There's a real good possibility we're going to load Thursday. They want us to load Wednesday, but I don't know that I'm going to be ready that fast. And with the truck not being right, I'm certainly not going to go on a 2,000-mile run with it not being right. So hopefully we'll figure that out first thing in the morning, and I'll try to shoot you guys some video of that. But so this is just typical construction. I'm headed to one of our construction jobs now. Right now construction is crazy, but you can see these guys. I mean, it's usually, to the lay person, you'd be like, well, wow, there's a lot of people just watching the other guys work. Well, that's not really the case. I mean, all of 14, 15 of those guys can't be down there where the problem is that's holding them up from getting that panel in the right place at one time. So it's not always as it appears. And I'm telling you, the construction worker gets shortchanged in this country. It really pisses me off how they're viewed and talked to and treated, much like how truckers are treated. I don't consider myself a trucker because I don't do it full time. But, you know, I just don't put up with people talking to my drivers or construction workers, looking down their nose at them. It's not right. I mean, those guys bust their ass. They work hard, much harder than a white collar worker works. And if you think that this is easy, I encourage you to, today is August 9th, I think, maybe, or 10th. I encourage you to come on out here in this heat and bend over and start tying some rebar in this sand bog. I encourage that. So anyway, this is not something you'll learn at Home Depot. This is not a do-it-yourself project. This is not a Home Depot. We're gonna have the little, I don't know what they call them, their little in-store academy where they'll show you how to cut some trim or screw in a light bulb or whatever it is they're teaching you, lay some tile. That's not how this type work happens. This takes experience. This takes people with guts and backbone, strong backs, and it's not as easy as everybody thinks. The crane just don't do it all for you. It's not a push button situation. Now the crane operator's sitting in the air condition doing that, but everybody says, well, he's got an easy job. Crane operator has an extremely stressful job, very stressful. There's a lot of things that can go wrong when he's got that load in just a heartbeat, and it could end up being the death of one of the construction workers and possibly even the crane operator. So give these guys a little more credit than most people do. That they deserve it, and they certainly deserve to be paid what they're paid, if not more. And I know construction is expensive. Everybody talks about the price of things, and it just is what it is. I mean, it's nothing that's going to change. That crane is extremely expensive. Just to move that crane in here, I don't know where it come from, but let's just say it come from Miami. It probably cost, all the parts, I'm going to say anywhere from $35,000 to $60,000 just to move it in here. Then it has to be set up and all of that. A crane usually travels. You got a crane operator, and then you usually have what they call an oiler, which is the guy that helps with the crane. But yeah. So it looks like, if I'm not mistaken, that the one guy, okay, he's got a level, so he's going to check plumb on this panel if he hasn't already done so. But it looks like they're getting the their strong backs in place. Their shoring looks to be on there. So I don't really know what else there is to show you of this, unless you want to see another panel. It's just rinse, lather, and repeat is kind of how this works. So he's checking for plumb, which in this direction here, and then now he's going to check it in his other direction, because if it's not perfectly vertical in two directions, when they go together, there'll be a gap between the panels, which is no good. And you don't want to try and fix all that shit down the road. It needs to be right now. They need to get that adjusted now. So they'll do whatever they need to do to get that correct now. Well, that's it, guys. Everything else has been going good. It's brutal hot in Florida, and hopefully we're going to load Wednesday. If not, we'll load Thursday, and we'll do a video. I'm not going to tell you where the load's going just yet, because there's a chance we might not do it. So as it is right now, we're set to do it, but if they don't get the truck fixed, it's pointless. So you see the guy bouncing, he's standing on like what's called a 22 bar. It's a big pry bar. So they're gonna shim that panel and get it where it needs to be. And then they can make the rest of their connection. So that's it, guys. We'll see you. Hope you guys are doing well. New hats and koozies are done. We're gonna try and pick them up tomorrow, and they look pretty cool. I'll try and incorporate them in a video, and we'll see you guys. Y'all take care.